Even if I was like, well, I'm all about to fucking kill, and I could just set it up right through there, right? I almost always want to get this feeling for myself and for them. Go do a couple attacks from here using our lapels. So guy on the bottom doesn't have, if any, it really attacks from down here, right? Without having to change his angle. So a guy who has a guy into side control, this guy needs to really either sweep the guy or get to his guard, okay? He shouldn't be focused on, oh, I'm gonna just fucking choke him from here. He really doesn't have anything. He's in a really bad position. So the guy on the bottom really needs to be squirmy. So on a really squirmy guy, if you're pinching down on him, it's really hard to start trying to loosen up to try to reach over for an arm. Says now you're nice and loose, now he can shrimp out and you can lose the position, right? So we're gonna use our lapel. So I'm still able to keep this tight top control here. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna reach back and throw out my far side lapel, okay? I'm still pinching, he still can't get out, okay? What I'm gonna do is grab this and just feed it. Grab it right from the end, feed it as deep as I can this way. The whole time I was still pinching, having head control, have the weakened arm, and this far leg is still pinching. I'm not just concentrating on this that I get so loose to pop this out and he just gets out, right? We're still focusing on controlling them, still nice and tight. All I'm doing is reaching back with this arm, feeding it over his arm, not underneath it. From here, we're gonna grab it tight and we're just gonna throw this arm back to their hip and start rotating. Now as you guys rotate, you cannot stay high. This is too loose. You're gonna sink down into your live toes side control. And you're gonna start scooting back like we do a north-south choke. You're starting to come back. Okay, right there I'm at my tightest point. I'm just gonna start finishing it off. All it's doing is I'm feeding this rope here. It's wrapping under his head, so half of his neck is already getting choked. And as I'm bombing down, you guys can see, this is gonna start wrapping to this side of his throat. Like that. I'm doing it without being on top of him. So that's where you end up. So now you got about 3/4 of his neck wrapped with my own lapel. So we're here. I like to always go tight, and as I'm moving, if it's starting to hinder my rotation, I loosen. I loosen, loosen, loosen. I'm going back, and I finish. Pretty easy, okay? If your partner's on top of you setting this up, and they get real loose because they're concentrating on this, shrimp out on them. Good. Okay, he now turned the angle, I don't have it. Make sure you guys are still focusing on the control. Don't let him have that arm in there. Slide it out. Pinch it. This is secure. And back. Feed. Deep. Arm on the outside. Start to rotate if you need to. Loosen it up, and then finish. Got it?
Is it better if you can get that arm out of the way, or does it matter?
It doesn't matter, it's around his neck. So his arm cannot stop my entire weight of my body rotating. He's not gonna be able to stop it.
Do you bring the arm to the outside to stop him from following you? Is that why that?
So it's helping me rotate. So I can go like this, but eventually you're gonna have to throw it over and he can start sliding with me, right? I'm not blocking his hips. So because this far leg is going to leave his body, my hand stays there to block him so that I can go to a north-south. It's a basic quad choke.
Do you see any problems with grabbing his pants or his belt instead of
No,
planting your...
all you gotta do is you gotta cement this side. Yeah. So I like keeping my hand there, but you can do that too.
I like to control.
Yeah, that's perfectly fine. What you don't want is for him, as you start rotating, for him to go with you. You need to keep him there so that the rope keeps wrapping around on the opposite side of the leg.
The thing too is to keep that shoulder to keep it pinned
Yeah.
Put pressure on your shoulder against my head.
That's why we go from our pinching side control to live toes where we bomb down. And we're just grinding on top of them, staying low and sliding back so that the rope wraps up. You guys got it? Let's go back and forth.